everybody, welcome to Allastrology. We're doing an extended reading during this video. Our extended reading today is for July 25th, 1999 at 1:35 a.m.
And this is A&G Allastrology. This is Amy and this is G. And I'm just lighting the sacred sage for this reading so we can set the tone for the space. And you gave the details?
Yeah, I
as
did.
usual?
Yeah.
Awesome. So one little usual thing that we have to do before we give the reading is let our people know that we give subscriber readings for free. Free. All you have to do is go down below and comment. Let us know you want a reading. You do have to have your birth date, time, place, city, state, and country. Definitely should come from a birth certificate.
Yeah.
That's how we give an accurate reading. It has everything to do with the accuracy of your birth time.
Yeah.
Okay.
If your birth time is not accurate, the reading is not going to be accurate at
It'll be
all.
off. Yeah, you'll be like, they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's the birth time.
Yeah.
It's the birth time.
Makes
Because so
a big
far,
difference.
out of all the charts we do, if the birth time is right, people are like,
Holy mackerel, how did they know that?
right, it is spot on.
Yeah.
So, again, just let us know if you want a reading. Give us a comment, and we'll take care of you. We'll hook you up.
Okay,
Yes,
we
ma'am?
ready?
We are ready.
We're ready. Okay, so we're going to pick up right where we are right now. Today is August the 29th that we're recording this, and tomorrow morning, first thing in the morning, is a new moon in Virgo at 6 degrees of Virgo. Not only do we have a new moon, which means that the sun and the moon in the chart are on top of each other, but we also have, oh my gosh, we have what's called a stellium in Virgo, which
It's a
means
lot of planets.
there's a whole lot of planets in Virgo, a whole lot of Virgo energy. We have, besides the sun and the moon, we also have Mercury, Venus, and Mars. So all of the inner planets are in Virgo right now. And
So what does that mean? Tell us about Virgo real quickly. Virgo,
a lot of earth energy. So if you have noticed at all that the birds and the squirrels and the other little animals are
in particular domestic animals too, because that's a Virgo thing.
Yeah, in particular, like your pets.
Yes.
Your cats and your dogs and your birds and your
Or whatever
salamanders
you
that
keep.
you've got living at home and your fish and your
Yeah.
fish tanks or whatever. Anything that you've got living at home that's a domestic animal, they're probably being particularly affectionate, particularly attached to you and
Active.
close to you, very active. If you have more than one, they're probably being very active with each other and particularly affectionate with each other, very close to each other. If you have a couple that generally have a tendency to be a little fighty with each other, they're probably being a little more affectionate to each other than usual. You're going to notice that people might be a little bit more critical with each other than usual.
Possibly.
They could be a little more
People are more aware.
nitpicky with each other.
Yeah, people
than
are more
usual.
aware of the smaller things. Like don't sweat the small stuff. Well, Virgo sweats the small stuff.
And so what you're probably going to get are people going, why'd you do that? That was silly. Or you didn't have to do that. That was unnecessary. Or I can't believe you said that to her or him. Or there wasn't any need for that. Those kind of, and it's all over like little stupid stuff. Like, why didn't you use your turn signal when you turned at that corner? It's all going to be really stupid shit like that.
Okay, some other Virgo things. Virgo's also known to have to do with the health of the body. This is important, people. With the sun and Mars and Venus there right now, you might notice a resurgence of vitality.
You probably are feeling like this huge surge of energy. You may even be feeling like, man, my house is dirty. I really need to clean.
Especially in regards, to day-to-day routines and projects.
That may seem really weird, but Virgos tend to be very clean based.
Yeah.
They like to have a clean house. And so if you tend not to be one of those kind of people, they tend to be very organized. This is a really great time to get organized, to clean your house, clean your room, clean your apartment. With all this Virgo energy going on, this is a great time to do it.
All right, so let's tie the Virgo energy into your chart.
Yeah.
And we are looking at July 25th, 1999, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so all of this is going on definitely in the home. There's a resurgence of planets right there right now in the home. But then for you, it's going to transition from the home to children, joy, creativity, romance, and risk-taking and creative projects.
And
totally.
Fun.
Okay? Yeah, having fun. Fun projects with children, things that, whether they're your own children or other children, or maybe you'd like to do things that seem like things you used to do when you were a kid that you still enjoy. Like these would be tied into that.
Yeah.
Romance, having fun, being flirty, these are all these are the energies that are actually, this whole reading for you is all about
around
this. Because everything we've looked at in your chart really points to one-on-one relationships, and your fifth house, which is about romantic relationships. Yeah. Relationships that we have fun with, that we flirt around with, that we take a risk with.
Dating relationships.
Yeah, dating. Yeah, good way of putting it, dating. Because the other house, the seventh house, which is what your chart's mainly about, is about our significant one-on-one relationships. So in other words, that's like, okay, so you're kind of going through the process of dating and then moving it along to maybe something more serious.
Long-term, serious relationships.
Yeah, and so that is the overarching energy for this video. All right, so we're going to start off with talking about the planets that we're looking at and what we want you to do in the next 4 or 5 days, specifically September 1st and September 2nd.
Right.
We want you to understand what is good for you in a relationship.
Yeah.
What kind of a partner is good for you?
Yeah.
What makes you feel safe? What makes you feel at home? What feeds you? Whether it's emotionally, spiritually. You need to have a partner that's really going to be good for you on a lot of levels. I know you like to have freedom in a partnership. You also want an intense partnership. Again, anytime anybody has this marking in their chart where they want an intense partnership, you have to understand what that means. It's not just, a depth of emotional intensity or sexual intensity. Those things also can look different ways that might not be so good. And so we want you to be aware of that. To really have intentions set. We have the words written down, okay? Logic, inner emotional world, what you value. Really figure out what you value. Your day-to-day routines. It's got to be a partner that can really fit into what you do on a day-to-day routine, where it makes sense. So it's logical. These are all Virgo things we want you to really focus on.
Yeah, we really want you to focus on...
So it should be good for your health as well.
Yeah. We want somebody that's going to be really good for your physical and emotional and psychological well-being.
Yeah.
And we want somebody that's going to feed you in terms of having a good laugh, but that is also going to feed you in terms of being a solid relationship that's going to have some fire to it, but that is going to be emotionally satisfying, while at the same time have a sense of security to it.
Yeah, which I'm going to be honest with your chart. You have markings where a sense of security might be challenging because you do have, whether you are aware of it or not, there's a part of you that desires freedom. And so you'll attract people like that as well. So the goal is to have people in your life who can have an established sense of themselves, a very strong sense of who they are and what they do, whether it's to have fun, for a living, how they make their money, their projects. They can have friends who, whether you like to go out with them or not, it's not dependent on that. You guys can have this great interdependent relationship where you can have your own lives, And then still at the end of the day, come together and share what your own lives were like. You follow? So really strong, independent people, but yet who are able to come together.
I'll give you a really good example, personal example from my own life. When I first met my husband, I was going to go out one afternoon, and my husband is kind of he is, not kind of, he is nosy. And when we were first dating, he was even worse. And he asked me one day what I was going to be doing, and I said I was going out. And he goes, "Who are you going out with?" And I said, "A friend." And he said, "Who's this friend?" And I said, "A friend." And he said, "Who's the friend?" And I said, "A friend." And he said, "Well, who is this?" And I said, "It's just a friend. We're going out for lunch." And he goes, "Is this friend male or female?" And I said, "It's a friend." And I kept trying, and I basically, I said, "Look," I go, "it's a friend. It doesn't matter whether it's male. It doesn't matter whether it's female. It doesn't matter that we're going out for lunch, or whether we're going out for coffee, or whether we're going out to get dinner, or we're going out to get a drink. It doesn't matter. What matters is at the end of the day, when I get home, I'm calling you. That's what matters. Is that the last thing I'm going to do before I go to bed is I'm going to crawl into bed and I'm going to call you and I'm going to talk to you, and you're the person that I'm going to tell that I love you to before it's all over." And he realized at that point that if he pushed it, he was going to lose me, and that in order to keep me, he had to be willing to accept me on my terms and accept that I had to have my freedom, that I had to have my sense of independence, and that if I didn't have my sense of independence, that he wasn't going to have me in his life. And so that's what you have to have. You need to have this balance of having a sense of security within the relationship, and yet at the same time be with somebody who accepts the fact and works with you in the fact that there has to be this sense of independence at the same time. And it is completely acceptable and doable.
It's
and
healthy.
That it works. And it is healthy.
It's healthy.
And it's the way a healthy relationship works. And it should work. There shouldn't be this demand on each other of where are you going, what are you doing, who are you going to be with, how long are you going to be there, what are you going to talk about, who else are you going to see. There shouldn't be any of all of that.
I think people confuse that kind of stuff. They confuse that with love. They confuse the
Right.
What's the word I want to call for that? That is a
They
it's
see
attachment,
that
but it's
see
really
that
a
as
chain,
being
you know?
they see that as being caring and
Yeah.
being concerned.
Yeah.
When in fact what that really is tying somebody down and being controlling and manipulative.
Right.
And
And
what
it's
you
not love.
don't
It's not
want
love.
is somebody who's controlling and
Right.
manipulative and doesn't accept you for who you are and doesn't accept that you can be honest and you can be faithful for who you are without having to give all that information. Okay, so that's just a real quick example for you.
Real quick.
Yeah,
I just had to throw that in there. I'm sure this person, no, don't apologize. It was funny. Anyway, no, I'm sure this person appreciates that because you did a really good job. That's a great example.
Thank you.
Actually, it's a great example. Okay, so.
And we're still married, and we've been married for 23 years.
Right. Good part of the story.
Yeah.
The best part. And that was vital to you establishing your boundaries from the get-go.
And he still doesn't ask me when I say I went out with a friend. He
Right.
still doesn't ask me.
Right,
So.
right. It's like, okay, this is my wife. I trust her. This is,
Right.
and it's a done deal. You're an adult.
Right.
All right, so we're going to move on. Just remember for that September 1st, September 2nd, those are the intentions we want you to set. We want you to focus. If you're not in the mode of doing intentions, it's basically a time of the month that's important where there's supportive energy that will align with your thoughts. So you decide what you want to create in your life. Mm-hmm. Okay? And the words that we've given you, the things that we've talked about, coincide with the energetic lineup in your chart. Okay? So the words we've used, rewind the video, listen to everything again if you have to, and just use some of those keywords to create your intention. Okay?
And if that means you write them down, you speak them out loud, you light a candle as you do it.
I would make your intentions spoken and make them tangible at the
Make
same
them
time, because this is
tangible.
an earthy new moon.
It's
Virgo.
it's Virgo.
It's practical.
Yeah, it's
very
very
practical,
practical.
high level
it's very
discernment,
It's very what's called mutable, which means it can be molded and shaped, and so you want to mold it and shape it into a way that feels good for you. So, if you have a scented candle that you really like, that makes you feel relaxed and comfortable and at home, light that as you say these words, and you bring that into fruition for yourself.
Are you going to share what you did or what you're going to do, or no? Or should I not say it? Because I loved it. I thought, oh, that was a great idea. Are you going to share it? It was beautiful.
What I did was, because my sun is at 3 degrees of Virgo, was I took 3 white feathers and I tied them together with a string and I hung them up in a tree outside in the garden so that they could blow in the wind.
Mm-hmm. And she spoke her intentions onto each feather.
I spoke my intentions in the feathers as I tied the feathers together.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways. It's whatever resonates with you.
Because I want the intentions to be caught on the wind.
And include something earthy.
So that,
that's the idea.
Yeah. So that the wind could carry my intentions out there into the universe, and the wind could bring them back to me.
Yeah, it was a great idea. I loved it when I saw it. I thought, oh, that's beautiful. Okay, so now we're going to move to a little bit further in September. We're talking September 13th, 14th, and 15th, okay?
Yeah.
I'm chuckling because this is a time where there's a lot of flirty energy in your chart. You're focusing on relationships.
Holy moly, are you going to feel flirty?
Dating type of relationships. Like,
flirty,
let's have
flirty
fun,
girl.
Take some risks.
Flirty, flirty.
Very courageous, very confident in who you are as a female or male. I'm sorry, don't mean to divulge the gender of the chart, but
you're going to feel very flirty.
It's very much just, this is who I am, and I feel very confident around...
In who you are.
Yes, in who you are. Yes.
And in the person that you are as a sexual being.
Yes, totally. It's all about having a good time. So our recommendation is just to be aware of this, because there's going to be such an abundance of this, not just for September, but it rolls into October as well, where you're working with this energy.
Yeah.
Now, all of us work with this kind of energy in some way, but in your chart, it lines up in these houses of significant relationships.
Yeah, it's going to line up
fun
in the
relationships.
Fun and dating house, and in the significant relationship house. I mean, it is just going to be hitting you, bam, 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 week after week after week. There's just going to be this energy that's going to come and hit you and hit you and hit you. And you're just going to be like, oh my gosh. And you're just going to want to have fun.
Yeah, because Mercury's involved in this, so it's thinking about fun, communicating
talking about fun. You're going to be
whatever
talking
that
about
fun is for
let's
you.
go out and have a good time.
It's going to be about things that you value, which interestingly enough, your values are practical. You actually, analytical things. You like, details. You're when
you're a very practical, down to earth person in a lot of ways.
Yes. So this won't be difficult for you, and this again adds to the power of your new moon intention, which is what we asked you to set in September 1st and September 2nd. It's a new moon intention, it's called, and I think you're going to have great success with setting that intention, because that intention will then set the tone for the next 6 months for you, okay? And that's what we're going to give you right here, okay?
Yeah.
So we're going to move now to the end of September. We've got, again, that very flirty energy going on. It involves what you love, what you find beautiful and harmonious and peaceful, and what you desire.
There's a lot of desire going on.
Yeah, you're going to have more assertiveness. Like, you're gonna go after what you want, basically, because it starts September 23rd to October 2nd. We have those dates written down where there is just an abundance of this is what I want and I'm going to go get it.
Yeah.
Now remember, it's in regards to significant one-on-one relationships.
Yeah.
Okay, now let us go. We do this all the time in videos. Significant one-on-one relationships can mean a lot of things.
Yeah, it could be like a person that you are in a relationship with, like a male-female or female-female, male-male, whatever that connected relationship is. It
Physically
could also,
intimate partnership.
Physically intimate partnership. It could also mean a close, personal friendship relationship that you've had for a really long time, or somebody that you get to know that you've maybe known for a while, and all of a sudden that person becomes like your BFF. It could also mean a relationship as in a close business partnership where you have like contracts and contractual agreements, or a business partnership where you start a business together, or a collaboration together,
right?
Kind of thing.
So that is, like I said, the end of September going into October. Now, when we get to October 12th, okay, there is your emotions really start to get involved. They start to kick in. So it's not just about having a good time anymore. There's something emotionally triggered here for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So anytime emotions get involved, our recommendation is always to, first of all, be aware that that's coming.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And we kept looking at this and we're saying, well, this is going to occur, whatever this is. There's so much support stating this.
All over the place.
That this activity,
every time we tried to dissect it and say, well, maybe it's not, it's like, oh, but there it is again. There it is again.
Yeah.
There it is
so
again.
There's some sort of a merging. Okay. Merging. It's
literal merging.
Yeah. There's some sort of a merging that is the I don't know how else to put it, but it's not that you don't have free will. You can say no at any time. But because your emotions are going to be involved, we wrote down, if emotions take control in this time, just be aware that you are allowing
your emotions to be in charge of whatever situation this is.
To make the choices, basically. Mm-hmm. And when we allow our emotions to choose, and if it doesn't include any Virgo energy, if it doesn't include any logic, discernment, or rationale, usually we get into trouble. Okay, so just be aware ahead of time of all of this, okay?
Yeah.
So on October 12th is when, like I said, there's an event that occurs and your emotions are triggered. And somehow you're still dealing with significant one-on-one relationships, you're dealing with friendships, okay? Mm-hmm. You're also this also pertains to individuals possibly in the work area. So we're seeing that coming up a lot in your chart for the next 6 months, which is significant relationships that somehow involve the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not sure if maybe the relationship that's being triggered is a relationship with somebody that you work with,
right?
Or if there's like a significant one-on-one relationship that you get involved in a relationship with someone that you work with, that's not a good idea, which it never is.
That's hard.
Or if you end up in a situation at work where you end up partnering, like business work partner, not like dating partner.
Yeah, not a physical thing.
Not a physical relationship.
Looks intense,
but this looks intense, like it could be dating partner kind of thing with somebody that you work with. Hopefully not, but if it's not, then if it is somebody at work, then this is a pretty significant, intense relationship with this person that you're working with. I mean, maybe there's a project that you have to do with this person. Maybe this is somebody that you have to work with really closely, real directly. But this is an intense relationship that you're going to be involved in.
Keep your emotions in check if possible, okay?
Yeah,
that's what we're
and it's going to be really tricky. It's going to be really tricky, and you're going to be walking a really narrow line with this, and it's going to be really hard. But when you are involved in this situation with this person,
sorry, I just wiggle the
You
camera.
really have to keep your emotions in check. You really have to, because that's what's going to get you in trouble. And I'm speaking from experience on that one.
Well, yeah, I don't think. Here's the thing, like.
Whenever
Unfortunately,
you
we
have-
can all say we can speak from experience, and the thing is, well, then go ahead. You got to do it, so go do it. But I just want you to be aware.
moons,
Just want you to
babe.
be aware.
Fiery moons, it's hard.
It's hard, and not only that, but here's the thing with the fiery moon, especially in Sag. Sages tend to really want to believe that they have a very clear understanding of the truth, and that what they believe and their truth is, well, that's just the truth.
That is right.
It's not so much about being wrong. It's just that there could be other possibilities that you are not seeing. And that's one of
There's always other possibilities.
Yeah, that's just one of the challenges of having a Sag moon, which you do, by the way,
Yeah.
is that there may be a tendency to overlook the details. And these details are really practical, logical, rational things that would probably keep your butt out of hot water. You
Yeah.
follow? Sag also has this strong ability to be optimistic, which is beautiful, but it's just,
Right.
we want it to be realistic at the same time. You really should know who you're getting involved with, what they really are like, at the core. And
Yeah.
those things are important.
What you really want to do is you've got really strong Scorpio energy. You've got Mars in Scorpio. Mars rules Scorpio. So try and tap into your intuitive sense. Try and tap into your intuitive energy that you have available to you to try and see if you can figure out what's going on intuitively. Try and tap into your gut knowing.
Here's the thing, too, the big recommendation with the kind of energy that you have in your chart that you were born with, okay? In October, you're going to have Venus, which is all about love, and Mercury, which is all about communicating and thinking about constantly communicating and how do we talk. And so all that's going to be added to this party.
Yeah.
So really the best thing to do at that time is with this abundance of energy, okay, is it's going to be all about, really, if we think about it, this is in the house of Virgo. So projects, take this physical energy and use it in a very creative. Almost like a Martha Stewart way, where just be productive.
Yeah.
Create things, whether that means rearranging and organizing, painting. What did you say? Something about furniture?
Rearrange
just
the
all
furniture.
sorts of,
Hang the pictures in a new place on the walls. Try and redecorate a little bit with what you've got. Try and do it in a really practical way.
But something that really, in a way, is physically challenging. That's the thing. There's going to be physical bursts of energy.
Yeah.
But it has to involve your body, right? So how do you use the energy, right?
You have to use
How do you use
your
that energy with your
physical
body?
energy you have to use the physical energy, because if you don't use the physical energy that's there, you're going to use that physical energy in another way.
Right, with a person.
With another person.
And this takes me right into November. November 5th to November 9th, this is when there's going to be a strong desire for you to be deeply, intimately connected.
Yeah.
Very intense relationship.
You're going to want to be getting your jiggy on. You're going to have this, there's going to be this really strong sense of physical, sexual desire during the beginning of November.
So again, talking about this intense stuff, we want you to just be aware of you're going to have a short-term satisfaction where it's going to short-term wise satisfy the intensity that you want. But down the road, typically relationships that satisfy that short-term intensity end up being intense, but in a different, unsatisfying way later on.
Yeah.
This is very typical. I want you to be aware of that. This is, this is being smart. This is using your head with your heart, not letting the emotions control the game here. Mm-hmm. Okay? You want your head with your heart.
Not letting the physicality and the emotion run away with you.
All right, let's move on to December. So December, actually, this is kind of cool. December is a time where there's a grand earth trine for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, with some aspects you have in your natal chart. And what that means is there's just energetic lineups, okay? It's
Yeah.
a triangle, and it's earthy things. So it looks like either it affects your home, okay? It affects your inner emotional world. It affects other people's money in some way, okay? So it could be like insurance money, could be money from a job. It also ties in a surprise, like money coming from a source where you were like, oh, damn.
Unexpected. Something unexpected.
I didn't know. Like, I wasn't aware of that. Holy
Yeah.
crap, you know? So how could that be? Well, how could that look in a tangible way? We discussed this before. It could be like a lot of different ways.
Yeah, you could see it as if you currently have a job, you could get a promotion.
Yeah.
You could get an unexpected different job that you make more money. You could get money from an unexpected source. You could get a bonus at work that you weren't expecting.
Yep.
For some reason.
It's tangible, which means something I can touch.
Something
so maybe
physical.
you're actually physically given a gift, but it looks really sweet. I'm not telling you you're going to be getting a stack of cash, but if you do, by the way, hey, don't forget about us.
No, but it does look like there's going to be some kind
Something
of
nice coming.
Something nice coming down the pike
That's
for
going
you.
to add ease.
That's going to add a little bit of ease. It looks like there could be some kind of financial benefit, hopefully for you, for your sake. I hope that's true. Some kind of financial ease for you. There's definitely going to be something really positive that's going to happen. You're definitely going to see some ease somewhere for you.
So I wrote down December 18th. Now, energies work within time frames. It's not like the day of December 18th.
No.
So you want to take a few days before, a few days after, okay, December 18th, and just be aware. Because sometimes
We
had this
generally
discussion not too long ago.
figure about a week,
Yeah, about a week. Sometimes, here's the thing.
sometimes longer.
Sometimes we get stuff and we got it, but depending upon our ability to perceive, sometimes we don't know that we received already, okay?
Yeah.
So perception is a big deal in Partis. But the way this is looking, I don't think this is something that's going to go by unnoticed. Do you?
I don't
Do you think this
so.
is something this person's not going to notice?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. I think it's going to be something that's a little bit more obvious, that it's like, you know,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more noticeable, and you'll feel the ease.
Hopefully,
You'll feel the ease.
hopefully it'll be real obvious to you.
Yes, and please let us know.
Let
And
us
it's not to be
know.
like, hey, come on. No, it's
No.
just simply we love
We
feedback.
love feedback, and we like
Yeah.
to know what's going on with people.
Yeah, we care. You know, we
Yeah.
also want to know that you found some benefit to the reading, and we like the feedback. It helps us to be better at what we do for others.
Yep, absolutely.
All right, moving along. So that's funny, right? Because that's like December 18th, which is like right before Christmas. So hey, that's always
Hey, that would
sweet.
be nice. Wouldn't that be nice if you got a bonus for Christmas?
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Now we're into January. Okay, so this is January 2020. So far, we have been talking about everybody's charts that we've been doing because there's a big alignment coming
my
up for
gosh.
everybody in the world.
Everybody
Yeah.
is going to get hit by this.
Everyone's going to get hit. But before that, when is that? That's like January 12th. Okay, so during that time for this individual, there is this, I'm just going to say the words, ambition, dominance, freedom, super intense, okay?
Yeah.
There is this thing going on in your house of significant relationships, significant one-on-one relationships. It's not like my group of friends thing.
No.
It's somebody who you really have a definite
personal
bond with.
relationship
Okay.
with.
And ambition, dominance, freedom, something super intense. You're going to feel that maybe you have a relationship with somebody at the time who isn't, who's challenging some of your freedom. Maybe kind of the way, the example you gave. It might
Right.
be something as simple as that. Or you might be doing that to the other person, to your partner.
Right.
Where you going? Who you going out with? I don't know.
There's going to be a power struggle.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a power struggle.
It's a power struggle. Now, which way that power struggle is going to go, we're not quite sure, but there's definitely going to be a power struggle.
Yeah, so this is a heads up. Now, this energy, the intensity of it lasts from January 10th to January 19th. Now, in the middle of all that, which we didn't discuss at all, really, was if I move this up to the January conjunction, Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which is the 12th.
Yeah.
Give me a 2. 2. And I'll go to
January.
All right, we're going to 2020.
Okay.
Hold on one second here. Let me give you some good info for you.
Let's see what we've got.
Okay, so what I find fascinating for her is that...
Okay.
I keep doing that. Anyways, what I find fascinating for you in your chart is you have this time coming up where it's all about your beliefs, your belief systems, and your opinions. They're going to be going through a change.
How
it started...
you